Hey friends, in today's video, we're talking about my top 6 rated liquid and cream blushes. Now, if you're new here, my name is Lisa. I am a former makeup artist and I'm the founder of VK Beauty Brushes. So I know a thing or two about makeup. I love to share makeup reviews, all my favorite tips and tricks here. So if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd love for you to hang around. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're gonna actually test and swatch all of these blushes. I'm gonna apply them so you can see how they apply on the skin and you can see the color. And we're gonna do this from least expensive to most expensive. So the least expensive blush that I have to share with you is the Huda Beauty Blush Filter Liquid Blush. And the shade that I wanted to share is the shade Strawberry Cream. This retails for $23. It's available at Sephora. Now, one thing you will see when I apply, whether it's liquid or cream blush, I almost always, I should say almost always, because I will say always, and then you guys will see another video of me later in the future applying it a different way, but I almost always apply it to the back of my hand rather than apply it directly to the cheeks. And the reason that I do that is because it gives me more control. It gives me more control over how much of the product I apply to the skin. I find that you can often apply too much product if you go directly to the skin, or if the product is a product that dries down really quickly. By the time you start to blend it out, you might have areas that have already dried on the skin and you find that you get a patchy blend and you're not able to get something smooth and seamless. So for that reason, I always apply to the back of my hand. So this is a lightweight liquid blush. It is very, very blendable and very buildable. It also has these micro fine pearled pigments that deliver a beautiful soft focus effect on the skin. And I love to use the 112 brush. You'll find me using the 112 brush a lot in this video. This one and the 116 are kind of my go-to for cream or liquid blushes. And you can see that I'm really working the blush into the brush and really kind of blotting it on my hand to almost pre-blend it out so that I don't go in and apply too much product on the skin. This blush gives a really beautiful radiant finish, and you'll find that most of the blushes I'm using today either give a radiant or a natural finish. This one gives more of a radiant. So what does radiant mean? Radiant means that it gives like this glow from within. So the skin lights up, it's highlighted, just a really beautiful soft glow to the skin. Radiant to me is the ideal glow. You know, there are so many different levels of like a glowy skin. I don't really like a dewy glowy skin because to me it can look really greasy midway through the day. It doesn't have longevity, where this is going to have more longevity. It's almost like a soft focus glow. And this color, as you can see, has got quite a bit of pigment, but it blends out so easily and really beautifully. Now, one little tip I will give you if you over apply product and you want to kind of tone it down a little bit, what you can do is you can kind of blend it to where you feel like you've gotten it blended out as much as you can. Then you can go in with the brush that you used for your foundation. In this case, I used the 106, and I just kind of bounce the 106 right around the edge of the blush. Right around the edge. And then any area that I want to tone down. So if that's right here, I'll kind of tone down that area. But I try to avoid the center and really just diffuse the edges. So this is the Huda Beauty Liquid Blush Filter in the shade Strawberry Cream. You can see a really beautiful radiant finish, but it's not pearly or glittery or sparkly. You're really getting that highlight from the formulation, reflecting light, giving a radiant glow, but it doesn't look shiny. It doesn't accentuate texture. In fact, it actually soft focuses the skin and blurs and minimizes pores and texture. Next up, we have the Saie Beauty Dew Blush in the shade Rosy. This retails for $25, so about the same price as the Huda Beauty, just an extra $2. This is also a liquid blush, and this also gives a radiant finish to the skin. Now, this color is very different. It's more of like a soft rose color, so you'll see quite a difference between what we applied here with the Huda Beauty and the Saie Beauty. I also love this and several other shades. I'm going to link them all down below in the description box if you want to check them out. But this is a really pretty, kind of like peachy rose shade. I'm going to be using the 109 brush for this application, and I'm going to work the product into the longest fibers of the brush. That's the part of the brush that I'll be applying to the skin. So I'm really going to be focusing on using this part of the brush right up here. This blush is also blendable, and it leaves a really pretty wash of color on the skin. And I like to start right here at the high point of my cheek and just kind of press to get most of the product off the brush onto the skin. And then I will sweep up and back to blend out. When it comes to liquid blushes at Sephora, these are kind of my favorite. I have one more to share with you later, but one that I find a little difficult to use, and let me know if you agree with me on this, is the Rare Beauty liquid blushes. Now, the pro on those is they last forever. They're so pigmented. They really do have great stain power, but you have to use the tiniest amount. If you over apply that product, you can get into trouble, and it's really easy to over apply that product. Oh, this color is so pretty. What I love about this blush is you can really, really blend it out and sheer it out so you do get that really pretty soft wash of color. So this is the Saie Beauty Dew Blush in the shade Rosy. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this, reapply the foundation, and we will come back to apply the next blush. I'm really excited about the next blush that I'm gonna be sharing. It has been one of the blushes I've been grabbing for lately. It's actually a new launch, and it is also from Rare Beauty. I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. If you are curious, this is such a great affordable foundation. It's very lightweight. It gives great coverage, and it has a very natural finish, meaning it's not gonna look really like dewy and glowy, but it's also not gonna look matte. It just looks like really beautiful, healthy skin. It not only is lightweight, but it feels lightweight. The skin is feels very breathable on the skin. That was a perfect foundation for today since I'm gonna be removing, reapplying, removing, reapplying. It also blends out so easy and so quick. Very excited to talk about this blush. This is a new blush. It's from Rare Beauty, and this is the Matte Bouncy Blush, and I have the shade Happy. I love this blush. This is a cushiony cream to powder formula. So it's a cream, but it applies like a powder. It has a finish of a powder, I should say. It doesn't apply like a powder. I feel like it does apply like a cream, but it has the finish of a powder on the skin. It also blurs the skin and just gives this really soft, focused matte finish. It has great longevity because it does like look and have that feel of a matte blush. It stays on all day. And I'm using the 109, and again, I'm also just getting it on the tip of the brush. This blush retails for $27. So I have the brush loaded up. I'm gonna kind of blot it on my hand just to get off any excess, and then we're gonna go directly to the cheeks. I think this blush is really easy to apply, and it's so smooth and consistent. That's what I love about this blush. It's very, very smooth. It just blends out very evenly. I think this is great for all levels of makeup skills. Even like if you're just getting started and a beginner, this is really great. One of the reasons, I should have mentioned this earlier, but one of the reasons that I love a cream or liquid blush is it just looks more youthful on the skin. I'm 42 years old, and I'm definitely in that era where my skin is changing, and I'm really focused on keeping my skin healthy and radiant and youthful. And so not only does that mean I'm changing the skincare products that I'm using today versus what I was using 5-10 years ago, but I'm also changing the makeup products and the formulas that I'm using. And cream just look like, it just blends like one with the skin. Powders can sometimes look very flat and matte. Now, don't quote me on that, meaning that I will likely use powder blushes. I have some that I enjoy and I use, and I still incorporate them. But overall, you will find me reaching for a cream or a liquid blush more so than others. Okay, so this is what one light layer of the Rare Beauty Bouncy Blush in the shade Happy looks like. I'm gonna go and add a little bit more. That's what I like about this, is it truly is very buildable. Even though the other liquid blushes are buildable too, this one starts off very light. So it really does allow you to start off, like kind of ease your way into the blush application. It's almost difficult to mess these up. Okay, perfect. Oh, so pretty. You do get a little bit of a radiance when the light hits the skin. It does reflect light and you get a little bit of a glow, but when you're looking up close, it's very, very smooth and blurred looking, very soft focus, and it has more of a matte finish without the look of a powder. It's really unique. I love this one, such a good find. Next up, we have another liquid blush. This is from YSL. This retails for $39. It is the Make Me Blush Liquid Blush. I have the shade 37 here, but I also love the shade 44, which is like this iconic dusty nude pink. Actually, when I grabbed that, I thought I was grabbing 44, but I grabbed 37, which I also like. You can't go wrong with either. If you like more peach, go with 37. If you like more of a nude rose, go with 44. 44 is kind of their like best selling shade. They make it in pretty much all of their products. But what this is this is a 12-hour long wearing liquid blush. It's highly pigmented, but it's very, very blendable. It's also very easy to work with. I find that this doesn't have a super fast dried time, so you have time to really blend it out and work with it, which is nice. But once it sets, it really does stay all day. This also claims to blur the skin and give a soft cloud-like finish on the skin. Now I'm gonna be going in with the 116 brush. The 116 is like a mini version of the 106. The 106 is the brush I was using for my foundation. This is the 116, so it's like its baby sister. So it's perfect for your cream blushes or cream contours. It's more dense than the 112, so it's really nice for cream or liquid formulas because of its density. And I'm just gonna go to the cheeks and just kind of bounce it on the skin. What's nice about this brush is the size. It's nice and tight, so it's really difficult to apply this in too large of space. So really all you have to do is just kind of pick the area that you want and just bounce it on the skin and kind of move the brush in circular motions around the area that you want it in. Perfect. Yeah, this is definitely more peach. Really pretty. Blush is one of the products, aside from lips, that does seem to fade throughout the day. So I'm always looking for blushes that have some claim to last all day, wear 12 hours, 16 hours, whatever it might be. But I love when there is a longevity claim on the product because, like I said, you apply blush in the morning, midway through the day, you'll find that 7 out of 10 times it's faded. So I love a good long wear blush. And these two shades actually look very similar. So the Rare Beauty shade Happy looks very similar to the YSL liquid blush in the shade 37. Very, very similar. And they actually almost have a very similar blurring effect in finish. However, this one is definitely more matte. The Rare Beauty is definitely more of a matte. So if you were looking for a cream or liquid blush that has a matte finish, of all the blushes that I'm going to share with you today, this is the only one that is going to give you that finish. All the others are going to be more radiant or more natural. And what's the difference between radiant and natural? Radiant's going to have more of a glow, where natural is going to look kind of more like just natural skin finish. Not a glow, but not matte either. Okay, so I'm going to remove these two, and I've just got my last two to share with you. And I'm really excited because of all the blushes that I'm sharing, keep in mind, all of these I really love. I would categorize all of these as favorites. I use the word favorites loosely. I can have like 20 favorites. I know some people are like, well, it's not a favorite if you have 20 of them. And I totally get that argument. I don't know what to tell you. I like these all. But of all of them, the next two that I have to share are probably the ones that when I discovered, I made the biggest deal about, because it was like, you know, when you discover products, I mean, let's be real, you guys. I feel like most new makeup launches that come out, for the most part, products are good. They're high performing. The technology in makeup and skincare today is just there. And so most products that I try are good products. It's kind of rare that I find a product that really disappoints me. I don't think that was necessarily the case 10 years ago, but today it's like most products are good. But sometimes you discover products that you try them for the first time and you're like, oh my gosh, this is what I remember feeling like when you find an amazing product, okay, right? I would say that the next two that I'm going to share would fall into that category, because when I discovered these a couple years ago, they were definitely that for me. You know, I think it's not just the formula, I think it's also the color of these two, because the formulas are definitely nice on the next two I'm about to share. They really are nice, but if you had to ask me what makes them better than, you know, XYZ's cream blush stick, I couldn't really give you like a really good argument on that. I mean, I do think they are premium, but it's really a combination of the formula, the way that they blend, and then the color of these. So I'm excited to share, and they are kind of similar, but I'm excited to apply them each on each side of my face so that we can really compare them and break them down. Oh, this foundation is so good, you guys. It's just so beautiful. Let's all say a little prayer for my skin. I'm not a fan of removing, reapplying, removing, or reapplying, but sometimes for a good YouTube video, you just got to do what you got to do, you know? Okay, let's go ahead and set a little bit with a tiny bit of powder. I'm using the old Givenchy formula, so unfortunately I cannot link this one because you cannot get it anymore. But I just want a nice light loose powder to just set, because after I apply these, we will not be removing them. So the first one that I'm going to share, I'm pretty sure you can guess, because you're probably like, why haven't you shared that blush yet, Lisa? I thought that was your favorite blush. Okay, it's time to reveal Jane Iredale's Glow Time Blush Stick in the shade Balmy. If you've been watching my videos, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but this is just one of my favorite blushes. So Jane Iredale is one of my favorite brands. They make really high quality, good for your skin products, meaning the ingredients in these products have a lot of skincare benefits. They are clean. They started the whole clean movement well before that was even a movement. Before we even knew what clean beauty was, Jane Iredale was making products that fit that category over 30 years ago. So this is their blush stick. They have a ton of shades. This is the shade Balmy, and I love this color because it's like the perfect blend of a warm pink with a peach tint to it, which I think when you apply a peachy pink blush or lip, it just takes off like 5 years on the face, or 10 years. Just gives this really youthful, playful, happy look to the skin. And I love this color. So we're gonna go back in with the 116. I'm gonna dry clean it to remove what we just applied. And I'm gonna go directly to the stick to apply this. This has ingredients like jojoba seed oil, also has coconut oil for blendability, which makes it really easy to blend out. This is a blendable and buildable formula. Honestly, I think all of them kind of fall into that category. They wouldn't be a favorite of mine if they weren't blendable and buildable, honestly, but that is one thing that is marketed on this product, is it's blendable and buildable. Oh, I just love this color. It is so, so gorgeous. This is where I get a little carried away with blush. Oh my God, this color is just perfect. It is just perfect. They also have a color called Smolder, which I recently discovered and like. I'll swatch that for you on my hand so you can see. If you want a little deeper warmer tone to the face, like a little amberine pink. This is the color Smolder right here. This is like a good bronzer, which is like a mix between a bronzer and a blush. This is what Smolder looks like. Actually more of like a nude rose shade. Do you see that? That's really pretty too. So love those two shades, but look at how beautiful that is. It gives a really pretty radiance to the skin. But again, that radiance is coming from the formula, the texture of this product, not from any shimmer or pearl particles in the actual product. Okay, and the last blush that I have to share with you is from Westman Atelier. It is their Baby Cheeks Blush Stick, which I actually found online can be used on the lips as well. And you know, let's be honest, most cream blushes you can use on the lips, but when it's actually marketed for that, that means it's been tested and it's safe for the lip area. This is the shade Petal. Similar to Balmy by Jane Iredale, it's that just perfect youthful pink. It's actually described as being a dusty rose nude. Let me show you. But it's got some peach to it. It's really beautiful. The formula is creamy and pigmented, very buildable and blendable. So, so pretty. It's also very hydrating. Let me swatch these two so you can actually see them next to each other. You'll find that Balmy is a little bit more peach. And if you compare the two formulas, you'll actually see, even though both of them have a radiant finish, you'll see that the Westman Atelier almost has a bit more of a dewy finish. Do you see that? The formula is slightly creamier or wetter looking than the Jane Iredale. Do you see that? It's a little bit more dewy looking. So if you have dry skin, I think you'll love either of these, but the Westman Atelier will just give you that really dewy glow. Okay, so let's go and apply this. Also, the packaging is just stunning and beautiful. It's very, very luxury product. It's $48, so you definitely pay for it, but I haven't regretted this purchase. I think it's fantastic. I'm gonna use the 112 brush to apply this. And this is a really pretty color for the lips too. This formula is also marketed as being very hydrating. This product is also a Clean at Sephora brand, so it meets the standards that Sephora has to be in that category. I should also mention that so does the Saie Beauty, and I believe the Rare Beauty as well. If you go to Sephora's website, I'm gonna link all these products in YouTube Shopping so you can check them out down below, but you'll be able to see if it's a Clean at Sephora product. Oh, how pretty. Look at that. So, so pretty. Okay, so this is a nice light layer. Let's go ahead and add a little more so we can get a little extra color, kind of similar to what I did with the Jane Iredale Balmy. I went in and added an extra layer. Let's do that with the Westman Atelier. When this came out, or I should say when I discovered it, I didn't discover it right when it came out, but when I picked this up, this was all I could talk about for like 6 months. Oh, it's so, so nice. So pretty. Okay, yeah, we've built it up quite a bit. Look at that. Okay, so this is what it looks like built up quite a bit. I am gonna go and we're going to kind of blend out this a little bit. I took it a little too low, but not to worry. I'm just taking my foundation brush and we're gonna soften the edge. So this is the Westman Atelier Baby Cheeks Blush Stick in the shade Petal. And this side, again, is the Jane Iredale Glow Time Blush Stick in the shade Balmy. Aren't they beautiful? You can't go wrong with either. You really can't. They're so, so good. So those are 6 of my top rated liquid and cream blushes. I hope you guys found this video helpful. Again, I'm gonna tag all of these products in the YouTube shopping platform so you can shop them down below in this video. And then I'll list the shade names in the description box if you want clarity on the shade names that I used. But if you've tried any of these products, drop a comment down below and let everyone know what you think about this. You are perfectly welcome to disagree with me, so please do. I think that it's really good to hear other people's perspectives. And again, makeup is very personal. You know, what works for me may not work for someone else, but I personally love these, and as a former makeup artist, these are definitely blushes that I would stock in my kit. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.